big reason I did this because we haven't talked about safety, and just the more I thought about it, the more I feel like we should be covering it because I think there's a pretty good possibility that we do draft a safety. We've been surprised in the past about how early we draft them. Cook was a second-round pick, right? Thornhill was what, like a third or second as well?
No, Cook was a third.
Third, yeah.
Was he third? Okay, Cook was a third. Thornhill was pretty high too, right? I think Thornhill was second or third also.
He was second or third. He was the same day they drafted McCole, so I think he was third. Second. Thornhill was the second-round pick.
Yeah. So we do have a propensity to draft him early, and Hicks is the only safety I believe we have. Well, no, Connor. When's Connor's contract run out? Because Cook's contract's after this year is done. We signed Edwards to a 1-year deal. Hicks we have for 3 more. So we didn't really replace Reed. So I'm like, man, could we just do another early safety, especially if we don't love some of the options? He said running backs deep. He alluded to DN being deep. So if a guy like Winston's there at 63, I'm in. I think we could do it. I mean, so the player himself would be a top 40 player if he finished the year. He partially tore his ACL, so he only played 2 games last year. Really physical, great instincts, all the tools to become a top flight cover player. Only safety with 85 plus grades at pass and run. Sideline to sideline, ball hawk, always around the ball, intelligent, did very well when he covered one-on-one. The beauty of him is he could cover well enough to be your free safety, and then he could also play box and slot. So he's just got it all over. Is he the most polished pass defender? No. And if he played the rest of the season, he probably would have ironed out maybe some of the kinks he has at that. So unfortunately, he just didn't have the rest of the season to kind of iron it out. But he's got all the coverage tools. He's got the athleticism. I think if the coaching gets him to where he should be, what a friggin' pairing him and Hicks would be, man. Just thumpers who can run all over the field. There's some other good safeties out there, too. I just don't think we're going to have to go after a big one. I like Watts, too. I like Makuba. But I think if we're going to go a guy who can do both, because I think we like a guy who can do it both, even though they specialize in one safety or the other, I think we go Winston.
And you said he's a second round guy, second, third round type.
It depends what mock draft simulator you do. In PFF, he makes it to that second round pick sometimes. In the mock draft central one, he gets all the way to the third round for us.
Gotcha.
Second, third.
Brian Cook and Thornhill were both second round picks, so that is right on.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Brian Cook was earlier in the third. So yeah. And it's coming to that time. Brian Cook's, I think we got Cook to basically take over for, hopefully we kind of like have like a pipeline of safeties. Thornhill was on his way out, got Cook. It's the right time to do it.
JD, what do you think about where's your priority on the safety aspect of things? Because Teja brings up a good point. A lot of them are gone. That whole room besides Hicks is pretty much gone.
Safety is one of those positions I thought, we could easily go probably pretty high. We're sitting over saying the picks that we have. I could definitely see probably 66 or 95. I don't know if we get him in the second round, but I like Kevin Winston Jr. a lot. I do. I think he's a solid safety. That's the thing. When I start going through my mocks, some of the safeties, I'll look at them and see who's left over, who we need as far as priority wise. I don't think you could go wrong with a pick. We got Mike Edwards in for another year. We know at least who's going to be here for this past year. Like you said, did we get the heir apparent to Justin Reed? I like Hicks. Shamari's a good play. Cook, has he looked the same after the injury? Not necessarily. I think he still got a lot of ability, but I think they might. I don't know what they're going to do after that, but getting a safety in, I think, might be something that they would definitely like to do for sure. But I do like Kevin Winston Jr. I do like him.
Yeah, and I love his size too. 6'2", 215.
Yeah, man.
Looks good at a big dude back there.
Run. He's got ball skills. See, when you start to get in the second and third round, one thing I noticed about the safeties, they were very good at one or the other. Either they were great ball hawks and their coverage guys, and their liabilities in pass. Like Makuba's a good example of that. Watt's a little less, but he's still got his run defense issues, right? Shoestring tackles. Winston tackles and he can ball hawk. He can do both. Like that's if you can get a guy like that who can do that, who has got like no weaknesses in that regard. That's why it's a no-brainer for me, which is crazy because you wonder what you hear these people talk to GMs are like, oh yeah, we didn't really start visiting the idea of getting him until like the day before the draft, day of the draft. It was like, how is that possible? But it happens, right? Like, I mean, I didn't really start thinking about taking safety that high until like the other day. And I was like, man, I can see that. I can get comfortable with that too.
Yeah, I always thought Chiefs were going to get another safety. I always just thought that.
Yeah, I don't know about the second, but if it falls,
second, that's
second or early third. There were 3 picks away, so either way, really. But yeah, I mean, if he falls and he's up there on their draft board, I don't think they hesitate to do it.
Yeah. Delonte Green Beans, is there a way they can get 2 more picks in the second and third round? I wish. I think everyone's trying to do that in this draft because the main meat of this draft is that second and third round. I love the talent in that second and third round.
Yeah, you could if you trade out of the first round. Yeah, you can do that if you trade out of the first because someone wants a quarterback that badly. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if they fall. Milroe, Dart, Shadur, Cam Ward. They say that Tyler Show guy might go in the first round now. There's late love on him.
Or if there's just a guy that a team wants so bad, they got the extra picks and they don't want to chance him lasting to them in the second round. But I mean, in most of those cases, I don't know why we wouldn't be into that guy. So, quarterback would make the most sense. But if there's just someone else lingering there, and then the team's like, you know what, I did not think he'd be there. I'll give up a couple of second day picks for him. So
yeah, some of those QB needy teams, a lot of them.
Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.